It's back. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the show. So this week we have success. The computer is back up and running. The cooling system worked. We successfully integrated the compressor from the dehumidifier system and the regulator into what was already existing condenser and evaporator. And here we left the oil pump system, moved the condenser up into the attic so that it no longer makes the noise in the room, so I can leave it running while we're filming. The computer is running successfully. Now there's a couple test benches and stuff that I've run on the computer, and I don't know if I'm quite ready to edit the video in there yet. A couple programs I was trying to run kept crashing the computer. This computer, the processor is an AMD FX 6100. That's a 3-core with multi-thread, so it's a 3-core with 6 threads. That means it can do up to 6 things at a time. The CPU can. It's kind of an old and outdated CPU, and even though I have it running at like 3.6 gigahertz, it still is locking up. It's old, it's not that terribly powerful, and for all I know, it may have, damage on it from being abused so many years. So that's the story. Now I took photos and videos as I was building the cooling system, and I'm going to try some editing magic here and see if we can't put this together for you. So I got the world's best helper here now. Kira, say hi. Say hi. Yeah, what are we doing? What are we doing in here?
Bye.
Yeah. So that's it for this video, guys, and thank you for watching. Again, I apologize for the shortness of the video and the lack of content as to the thoroughness of the project. I was more or less trying to get the project done than trying to film every aspect of it. But hopefully what you do see is enlightening enough to be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So the keynotes to this are the compressor and the regulator out of the dehumidifier unit that's running on 134A. We use that attached to a condenser from a 5000 BTU window unit and a flat plate heat exchanger from Amazon, and a Takeo 007 pump to pump the oil. So again, pumping the oil with the Takeo 007 from the tank via this PVC line, goes down, feeds the pump. The pump then pushes the oil through the flat plate heat exchanger and returns it back to the computer tank. We then have the compressor upstairs, which is pumping the 134A into the condenser as gas, hot gas. Then it comes out of the condenser, hopefully as a liquid, which it is, and it comes down here, enters the evaporator where it evaporates, boils off using the heat from the oil, which in turn cools the oil down and does the whole process. So that's the keynote to this whole thing. I'm not quite done with it yet. There are some finishing touches. I have to insulate the line set. I have to plug in a couple of these here power cables that I pulled out, but it's good to go. As I mentioned before, the processor in this thing's pretty old and it's kind of hindering some of the functions. So that brings me into this I got before you. I figured this video was kind of on the edge of watchable, so I'll give you a sneak peek of some videos to come. For one, the old compressor that we confirmed is dead. We're going to cut this sucker open and see what's inside and see exactly why it's dead. Second, this here, we're going to do an unboxing video of this here wireless Go system. This is a wireless microphone system that I can plug in my lav mic to and travel, like not have to have a cable running to the phone. The whole idea of this is to take care of our sound quality issues on these videos. Hopefully this does a much better job of accomplishing that. Also, this is a fairly new product from what I understand. I had to pre-order the thing and I didn't get it until it finally was released and sent to me. So we may be I'm sure they've had product reviewers out there reviewing this thing for a while now, but we may be some of the first to actually see how this thing goes. So that's going to be a video. We're going to unbox this and test it to see how it works. Third video coming up is we are going to try and putting higher power CPU in this computer and see how much of a difference it makes. Some of the test benches I've run, specifically Cinebench, we've got pretty low scores on. Like, I'm rating around an i3 at this point, an Intel i3. So this computer needs a boost, and hopefully this will be the one to do that. So that'll be a video draining the computer, replacing the CPU. I'll walk you guys through doing it. So if you want to do it, you know, maybe a few pointers and tips, maybe even find out a little more how a computer actually works. Then this little puppy, this little Easter egg. I got this little Easter egg online, paid 20 bucks for it, and essentially it's a mini ITX motherboard. It's a very basic, very low level motherboard. In fact, this one actually is busted, which is why I got it for 20 bucks. But what I specifically want on here is the socket. So this is a 1151 socket, LGA 1151, which is used in most of the Intel processors, most of the 6th gen Intel processors and others. It's a vast, I don't know the entire library out there. I'm not that big of a techie nerd. But the processor I want to use in a future build, which is the i7-8700K, takes this socket. So I needed a donor board so that I could disassemble it and be able to test a new cooling system on this socket. So I need to put the chip in a socket and then test a few functions of it, of a new cooling system I have in mind. And so that's what this is about. So there's going to be some very interesting videos in the future, and I mean very interesting. Like, we're going to be machining some new kinds of heat sinks to go onto a CPU that might not make the biggest difference, like we might gain maybe 5 degrees, but certainly proves an interesting idea if it works. So that will be a very interesting set of videos coming up. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, and by all means tell me why you didn't like it. I can't fix it if I don't know what the problem is. Hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you know when each one of these videos is released. Hopefully it's one a week. Hit that bell icon and you'll be informed of when these videos release so that you can watch them yourselves right then. Thank you very much. Have a good night.